There's a tired smirk you'll find haunting the comment sections of the internet, a smirk dressed in pixels and pride, often couched in mockery and wrapped in irony. It echoes like a broken record from self-appointed rationalists who believe they've outgrown the myth of religion. Jesus is just an imaginary friend for adults afraid of the dark. It's the smug mantra of modernity, a cold gospel of cynicism, and, let's be honest, a lazy intellectual sleight of hand. But let's not play polite with bad ideas. Let's torch them with truth and watch the smoke rise. No, Jesus Christ is not an imaginary friend. He is not a figment of superstition, nor a warm and fuzzy ghost you whisper secrets to when the world becomes too cruel. He is not some celestial comfort blanket for the weak-willed or a fairy tale figure conjured by the desperate in the throes of death or despair. He is the Logos, the word that spoke the cosmos into being, the divine fire behind reason, the rebel king who broke into history, flesh wrapped in eternity, blood spilled in a cosmic act of defiance against decay. There's a difference between imagination and incarnation. The former births fables, the latter fractures history. To call Christ an imaginary friend is to collapse metaphysical wonder into juvenile delusion, to confuse the poetic with the pathological, to mistake the mystery of being for mental illness. It is the philosophical equivalent of mistaking lightning for a flashlight. When I say I believe in Jesus Christ, I do not mean I entertain the idea of him like one might entertain the notion of a unicorn or a talking rabbit. I mean I have collided with a reality so piercing, so raw and so real that it disarms my pride and drags my soul kicking and screaming into sanctity. Because faith is not fantasy, it is fire. I have called on him, not on some invisible sidekick in the sky, not on a fairy or a ghost or a symbol. I called on the crucified carpenter, the lion-lamb king who said, "Come to me, all who are weary." And he came, not metaphorically, not emotionally, but palpably, like peace with a pulse, like a power that sets chains on fire, like sanity screaming into a shattered mind and stitching it back together with sacred thread. I've read Nietzsche, I've sat with Sartre, I've let Camus howl into my bones, and yet their darkness, though poetic, has no answer for mine. Their abyss only mirrors the void. But Christ doesn't mirror the void. He invades it, kicks the walls in, flips the tables, plants a flag. When critics scoff and label him imaginary, they mistake familiarity with falsehood, as if something ancient must be fiction, as if something transcendent cannot also be tangible, as if the infinite would not dare touch dirt, bleed, or die. But Christianity, in all its gritty glory, is scandalously embodied. It's God getting splinters under his fingernails. It's the divine drawing breath. It's not make-believe. It's blood-soaked belief. You can reject him. Many do. But to reduce him to a psychological prop reveals less about Christ and more about your unwillingness to wrestle with the implications of a God who actually showed up. If Christ is just a figment of imagination, why does his name offend in a way no mythological figure ever has? No one gets banned for saying Zeus. No one censors Horus. No one trembles at the mention of Odin. But say Jesus in a room full of postmodern skeptics and you will feel the temperature shift. The name cracks like thunder. It carries weight, gravity, authority. Because it's not just a name, it's a name above names. That doesn't happen by accident. The myth of Jesus as a moral teacher hallucinated by ancient shepherds dies 1,000 deaths at the foot of the cross. Moral teachers do not speak as if they authored the universe. They do not forgive sins in first person. They do not rise from the grave. Christ did not come to advise. He came to conquer. He was not crucified for being sweet. He was crucified for claiming sovereignty. The resurrection is not wishful thinking. It is the most disruptive fact in human history. Eyewitnesses died without recanting. Cowards became martyrs. Enemies became apostles. The church, fragile and hunted, exploded across empires not by force but by faith. Not by swords but by scars. Imaginary friends don't make emperors nervous. Imaginary friends don't reshape calendars. Imaginary friends don't split history into before and after. So let us speak plainly. The accusation that Jesus is imaginary is not based on critical thought but on intellectual laziness wrapped in condescension. It's an attempt to insulate one's heart from the inconvenient possibility that the Creator became incarnate and might just be calling your name. Yes, there are plenty of false gods. Yes, many have invented deities in their own image, tools to control, pacify, or explain. But Christ does not behave like those inventions. He disrupts. He demands death to self. He calls you to a bloody road and a cross of your own. That's not a product of wishful thinking. That's a call no one wishes to receive, unless it's true. And it is. I say that not because I was brainwashed in some Sunday school cult. I say it because I have chased pleasure and found it empty. I have argued in circles with the philosophers and found them brilliant but blind. I have flirted with the edge of madness, gripped by despair, and it was Jesus, not Jung, not drugs, not reason, who pulled me out. To call him imaginary is to ignore the bruises he healed, the lives he rebuilt, the souls he resurrected, the saints who went singing into fire, the prostitutes who wept at his feet, the scholars who gave up libraries of pride to follow a homeless Nazarene who told them to lose everything and gain eternity. Imaginary friends don't change murderers into missionaries. They don't turn shame into song. They don't burn in the bones of poets, prophets, and prisoners alike. They don't split open the hardest hearts like hammers on stone. Christ is not a crutch. He is a cataclysm. And once he's wrecked your world, nothing else will satisfy. No high, no girl, no accolade, no ideology. He is not your coping mechanism. He is your king. He doesn't stroke your ego. He crucifies it. He doesn't whisper, "You're perfect as you are." He shouts, "Die to yourself and live." So no, Jesus is not my imaginary friend. He's my Lord, my judge, my Redeemer, my refuge. And when all the lights go out, when your philosophy fails, when your intellect trembles before the silence of death, he will still be there, waiting, not in your mind, but in your marrow. Not as a hallucination, but as a hope that never dies. And trust me, no one dies for an imaginary friend, but I would die for him, because he already died for me.
Smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit subscribe. Then check out Faith Mode, where premium streetwear meets gospel grit. faithmode.com